And welcome back into the Winter Sports Tip-Off Show. We're now doing swim over here. I'm with Captain and Senior Maggie Ite. And Maggie, for this season, you've worked so hard. Tell us about some of the things you're doing to get ready for this upcoming season.
Well, I hadn't taken a PE, so I fit strength training into my schedule. So every other day on my A days, I am doing strength training, and I've been doing that since August. And the beginning of it, I wasn't able to see any real change, and then now it's like through the first part of the season, and it's meet season now, and so I've really been able to see a change in like my body and just how like my endurance has gone up a ton, and I'm not getting as winded after practice as I used to be. I mean, practices are hard, no doubt, but I've really been able to see a difference in like the way that I practice and then the way that I perform due to strength training and just lifting and all that. So
like I mentioned, you are a captain now, and you're already a senior, which makes you a leader already. But being a captain, what kind of role have you taken on for the rest of the swim team as like kind of a leadership role? What are some things that you've done to just kind of help your team along and get ready as well?
Well, I don't meet a stranger, so I consider myself pretty welcoming to everyone who comes onto the team, and I'm pretty easy to talk to. So I think I've easily met a lot of the new freshmen and sophomore kids who've come onto the team. And I guess just being a senior and, I guess being in the last lane, being able to work up to that, and, also, changing lanes and stuff like that when you swim, like you swim at your level and everything. I swim with people who are like younger than me, but that, have like their own speed and everything. So I think just like being able to not just be with seniors and being able to interact with, younger kids and, well, not kids, I guess, like teenagers, younger high schoolers. It's like great because I've been able to just share a lane and create a bond with them. But other than that, like, just talking to them, I'd take my sister and her friends to practice every single day. And like, I mean, I would still know her and her friends. Obviously I would know my sister, but I'd know her friends, through her just being friends with them, but being able to take them every single day is like allowed me to grow in our friendship as well.
So you're going to be like leaving a legacy this year to people like your sister and her friends. If you're going to leave something for them, what do you want them to take away from you that you can teach them this year?
To suck it up and move on, because swim is hell from 5:30 to 7:30. I mean, it is, but it pays off by the end of January. It's amazing, and you see your whole team grows. Like, you really get to see. And another thing, a part of it is like you keep the swim team a family because you're not separated. It's just kind of like football in that way, that like you're with there's no JV in varsity. Like it's all one, and so you really get to grow as a family by the end of January. So it's great.
Every team's goal is to win a championship, but putting championship aside, what do you want to accomplish this season personally?
I want to be able to look back and not have many regrets. That's my whole thing with high school. It's like, no, I might not win state title. No, I might not do this, but I want to be the best that I can be before I leave. So I think that at least making a few region cuts would be my, goal. So.
Well, this has been Senior Maggie. Maggie, you're just so fantastic all the time, and you're just such a good personality, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
We're going to have Austin Wright coming in here right now as we're going on, and you heard from Maggie just a lot of the leadership qualities that she has, and so Austin's going to come in here in a second. You're good, Maggie, if you want to go back and keep eating down on the food. But Austin's going to come up, and you know Austin very well. Me and him have this dynamic that we've been having for just the longest time here in the 4 years. He's one of our leaders. Austin is such a good swimmer, and he's coming in right now, and we're getting down. And that's the rumbling you hear. That would be Austin saying down. And so this might be the most personal interview of the night just because, well, we know each other so well. Hey, Austin, how are you doing?
Doing well, Owen. Thanks
I've only
for
been
having
talking to you for 3 hours straight since after school ended. So, Austin, you're, like I was talking about with Maggie, you're a senior leader on this team as well, just like her. So I'm going to kind of go with the same thing. As a leader on this team, what have you been doing to prepare as a leader for your team this season?
So we've been doing many things over this season just to prepare our younger guys for what the challenges are ahead, because we have a long season since we start training as soon as the summer. I mean, we train then. We even have off-season training in the spring as well that we use to prepare ourselves. But like for our underclassmen mainly, we try and prepare them by making sure that they have enough time in the water by getting a lot of long endurance sets that we like to call our aerobic sets. And so basically with all that training that we're doing, especially right now before our big division meets coming up, like next week we are facing Station Camp, we're getting them ready by doing those aerobic sets to be physically prepared for those meets coming up ahead for those longer distance sets.
So Austin, as a senior, you have the opportunity to leave a legacy to the next people coming up. In your legacy, what do you want to leave behind? What do you want to leave Father Ryan with your name? What's surrounding your name? What legacy is that going to be when we see Austin Wright, when we mention you here in the future at Father Ryan? What's that going to mean?
Well, hopefully I go down as a hard-working guy that's always been in the pool as much as possible, especially with considering how many things I'm doing at Father Ryan, especially with the dedication to Behind the Crest and all that we do to broadcast and cover the sports here at Father Ryan, especially like swim, that may not get as much coverage, like through our social media posts. But hopefully I go down as someone who's hard-working and is able to show that I've done a lot throughout having many different tasks to do at Father Ryan, and hopefully I go down as one that has shown other people through my leadership of making our own social media accounts, through Instagram and Twitter, giving more exposure to our swimmers, and hopefully just being all around good teammate and showing others that with a little dedication, a lot can come through that.
So, I was talking about with Maggie, but it's every team's goal to win a championship. For you personally, championship aside, what's the goal this season?
So the goal this season for me is when Rob and our other coach, he was giving me some goal times to set for this season. So for my 50 free, I have a goal time of 21.99, which is well below the state time, and that's just something to work towards. And so if you can't get to it, you'll at least know that you've tried and that you know that you've worked towards something that you can get to. And if you can get to that point, that just shows how much you've already trained and how much you've already put into this and that you're that dedicated. And so even for that, even for my 100 free time, I already have a goal time in the 51 range as well. So I'm very excited to see how that all turns out.
Well, thank you, Austin, for joining in on us. Next, we have Coach Ma Philbin coming in. Coach Ma has been coaching these swimmers for a number of years now, and we're so excited to have her on. Such a wonderful personality. Her team is always doing well, and she's coming in right now. Coach, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. We're so excited you're here. You're such a wonderful personality. I've never heard a bad thing about you from any of your players. You're just such a likable personality. From what I talked to with Austin and Maggie, you guys have been working so hard this offseason, this summer, just getting ready. What are some of the things you prepare your players with that you try to instill for this summer to get them ready for this season?
Well, first of all, can you call us swimmers and not players?
Yes, ma'am.
Swimmers and divers, if you don't mind. Basically, swimming is one of those sports that's so difficult. You can't just do it during a varsity season. You literally have to retrain starting varsity season like in August. The state championship is in the middle of February. But after that state championship, we take a month off. We swim all spring, take a month off, and swim all summer. Take a month off, and we start all over. So Coach Rob and I have the goal of as far of excellence as we can possibly get for the kids, to give them the opportunity, the maximum opportunity to be as good as they could be.
Is there anything you see in this year's team that kind of stands out from any other teams that you've had in the past?
When you've been doing this for 29 years, that's a tough question. Our swimmers this year have a lot of heart and a lot of guts, and they're working super hard. We've got some freshmen a couple of freshmen, as a matter of fact, who really had never done competitive swimming at all. And they have learned their strokes. They're already working at swim meets. They've learned, and I know this sounds funny to you, but they've learned to go off the blocks. They've learned to do a flip turn, and they've worked very, very hard to learn to do that. And this group is coming together as a team. We don't have, we do have some outstanding swimmers, Austin, which is one, and Walker and Evan, and I could go down the list. But we really are striving as a team to compete very well in our division.
So I was asking Maggie and Austin this question as well. It's every team's goal to win a championship.
Mm-hmm.
Setting a championship to the side, What's your goal for this season to accomplish?
As interesting as this may sound, to produce quality athletes who are good sports, do well academically, and achieve success.
You heard it from Coach Mall right here. Well-rounded citizens coming out of the swim team. Thank you so much, Coach
You're
Mall.
welcome.
It's been good having her. We're going to have some more teams coming next. We have basketball. We have hockey. Coach Bernstein and company coming up next here on the Behind the Crest tip-off show. I'm Owen Doherty. We'll be right back.